When they're together, Will's comfortable with that. Will's comfortable with someone and his wife when he's there. Is when he's not there is the insecurities.
Bilaal told me, Jada, he told me that you knew Will was in your child. Yes, he did.
This new lawsuit against Jada Pinkett Smith finally proves that Jaguar Wright and Uncle Bilaal were not lying about the dark things going on around Will and Jada. When I read those court papers, I realized this is the first time someone put these claims in writing in a legal document and attached their name to it. And honestly, the things inside that lawsuit make all the old rumors look small. Now let me walk you into this step by step, because everything starts to line up in a crazy way. From Jaguar's warnings, to Uncle Bilal's interviews, to the threats, to the sex allegations, and even the claims about Will's lifestyle that people called nonsense. So here's the biggest fact in the lawsuit. Bilaal Salam says Jada told him he would end up missing or catch a bullet if he kept talking about her personal business. This allegedly happened right at Will's birthday party, inside the Regency Calabasas Common, with Jada rolling up on him with about 7 people around her. Now, before we get into what that threat connects to, let me tell you why this moment hit hard for a lot of people. Because Jaguar Wright months ago said Bilaal told her he was scared for his life. She said the Smith family had ways of shutting people up. She said Bilaal saw things he wasn't supposed to see. And she said he didn't want to speak publicly because the consequences are real.
Don't be bad at everything. You was an all right actress, you was a terrible wife, you was a bad mother. Who knew that your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't do shit about it? Bilaal told me everything.
And what comes next in the lawsuit takes this even deeper, because it turns into a pattern, not a one-time situation. According to the lawsuit, after Bilaal refused to help Jada do crisis control after the Oscars slap, she allegedly started a full retaliation campaign against him. He says she tried to break him socially, financially, emotionally, and publicly. This part actually lines up with what Jaguar said in that same interview. She allegedly claimed Jada moves like someone who has handlers and systems to punish people who cross the family. And here's the crazy part. Bilaal says he refused to do things for the family because those tasks were illegal, unethical, or morally compromising. He doesn't explain the details in the lawsuit, but that line alone is heavy, very heavy. And trust me, that connects perfectly to the next section, the one most people came to this video for. Now this is where things get wild. Bilaal accuses Jada of lying publicly about Will's behavior. When Jada went on TMZ and said she had never seen Will doing anything intimate with men, Bilaal says that was a lie.
All the allegations are fake, Jada.
Absolutely. Jada Pinkett Smith is backing up Will Smith over claims that he hooked up with Dwayne Martin.
Never seen Will with no man, nothing like that?
Never.
Because he had already released a viral clip of Will allegedly groping Alfonso Ribeiro's nipple butt right in front of Jada and her kids. And this is where Jaguar's old statements come back like a boomerang. She said the Smiths were part of a private Hollywood circle where everything goes, and the lifestyle was very controlled, organized, secretive, and protected. Then out of nowhere, Bilaal goes public with something even heavier. He said if Jada doesn't sue him within 2 weeks, he will release the names of the people she used devices on at private parties.
Listen, in 2 weeks, if you don't sue me in 2 weeks, if Tasha K will have me, I'm back here and I'm dropping evidence.
This is where everything starts looking less like random gossip and more like a connected puzzle. Because Jaguar said the same thing, that Jada had parties, that toys were involved, and that big names were present. You don't have to believe it, but you do have to admit the timing is insane. Let me show you how deep this goes. In another resurfaced clip, Bilaal claims Will once attacked Jada after catching her with Mark Anthony. He says the beating was so bad, Jada needed facial surgery.
Jada started fucking with Mark Anthony. Will came home in court. Jada and Mark Anthony on the couch at their home. Will lost it and beat the shit out of Jada. I mean, beat the dog shit out of her. That so bad that they had to make a makeshift hospital in their home.
Now, as we move forward, remember Jaguar said similar things. She said she heard the Smith house was chaotic behind the scenes, and fights happened often.
That Will Smith, Jaden, he was sharing his technique meals, and you know it, Bilaal. Now I'm getting up how far in the desert you run.
The point is this. 2 people close to them are claiming the same style of secret lifestyle, and more people are speaking up. When Jada responded, she didn't just deny the allegations. She said Bilaal tried to extort them before.
He already tried to do this money shakedown. Will was willing to give him a certain amount or what have you, and he didn't take it. So this whole situation is based on that.
She also said they are suing Bilaal for spreading false stories, especially the claim about Will and Dwayne Martin. But again, before we move on, This is the exact same thing Bilaal claims she always did. Deny him publicly, discredit him, then pressure him behind the scenes. He says that exact pattern is why he filed the lawsuit. The question is, if he's lying, why attach his real name to a $3 million lawsuit? Why risk jail for defamation? Why push even harder after Jada publicly threatened legal action? Now let's move to a part people don't want to talk about, but we have to. Jaguar recently said Bilaal told her that Will harmed other young men, including Bryce Gray and even Meek Mill, and that Jada knew about it.
Jaden, you for sharing in big mills, and you know Bilaal.
And here's where I slow down for a second because these are heavy claims. No police report, no court case, no physical evidence made public. But I have to mention them because they are part of the conversation Jaguar and Bilaal had for years. And now this lawsuit is the first time it looks like the inside stories are being pushed toward the public. What makes this situation even more emotional is that Jaguar said Bilaal was always crying out for help, and nobody believed him. Now with this lawsuit, people are suddenly paying attention. Comedian Corey Holcomb said Will is part of a secret Hollywood group full of closeted men who protect each other and keep everything hidden.
Will like guys.
How you know?
I live in LA. And there's a lifestyle that is kept quiet.
A secret society.
Yeah.
Now, this shows the pattern. People who worked around Will keep describing the same world. A world with NDAS, secret parties, unusual habits, and no consequences. And now we have a lawsuit placing all of this under a microscope. When Jada's book came out, Will said her revelations woke him up and showed him who she really was. This was around the same time Bilaal started talking again. It's also the same time more old stories resurfaced. It's like everything is slowly unraveling, piece by piece. Before we wrap this up, let me bring it all the way back. Jaguar Wright said on multiple live streams that Bilaal knew the truth, but he didn't want to die for speaking. She said he was scared of the Smith family and the Hollywood machine behind them. And now, he's putting everything on paper. He's naming names. He's accusing Jada of threats, lies, intimidation, and emotional abuse. He's accusing Will of things that match old rumors. He's saying more will drop if they keep attacking him. Jaguar wasn't lying. Uncle Bilaal wasn't lying. They were warning everybody. And this lawsuit is the first real smoke signal. And like we all know, where there's smoke, something is burning. This whole situation is getting bigger by the day, and you know I'm gonna follow every update that comes out. So make sure y'all like the video, drop a comment, and tell me what you think. Is Bilaal telling the truth, or is this all one big Hollywood fight?
There are moments in time when the mask doesn't just slip, it cracks. And when it cracks, people who have been warning for years suddenly stop sounding crazy and start sounding early. This is one of those moments. Because what we are watching right now is not celebrity drama, it's not gossip, and it's not shock value. It's the collision between image and truth, between control and exposure, between light and darkness. And I need you to understand something before we go any further. Darkness does not announce itself as evil. Darkness disguises itself as success, as protection, as privacy, as that's just Hollywood. Darkness hides behind power, money, silence, and intimidation. And when darkness feels threatened, it does not argue calmly. It threatens, it punishes, and it isolates. According to a lawsuit now filed in a court of law, Bilaal Salam claims that Jada Pinkett Smith allegedly threatened him, telling him that if he continued speaking about her personal business, he could end up missing, or worse. That allegation alone is not just dramatic, it's spiritual, because threats are not the language of innocence, they are the language of fear. Fear of exposure, fear of losing control, fear that someone knows too much. Now pause right there, because this is where good versus evil comes in. When truth stands up, darkness doesn't repent, it retaliates. And according to this lawsuit, retaliation is exactly what Bilaal says followed. He alleges social destruction, financial pressure, emotional targeting, and public discrediting. And if that sounds familiar, it should, because this is the same pattern used over and over again in systems built on secrecy. Years before this lawsuit, Jaguar Wright said Bilaal was scared. She said he was afraid for his life. She said he had seen things he wasn't supposed to see. She said there were systems in place that silenced people quietly. And at the time, people mocked her. They called her unstable. They said she was bitter. But spiritually, that's always the first move of darkness. Discredit the messenger so nobody listens to the message. Now here's where this gets heavier. According to Bilaal, he refused to participate in actions he believed were illegal, unethical, or morally compromising. He does not detail them in the lawsuit. And that matters, because when lawyers allow that language into a filing, they know exactly what it implies without spelling it out. That sentence is a warning, not a confession. It's a line drawn between right and wrong. And this is where the good versus evil battle sharpens. Evil does not like boundaries. Evil does not tolerate refusal. When someone says, I won't do that, especially inside a powerful system, they become a threat, not because they're loud, but because they're conscious. According to the lawsuit and Bilaal's public statements, he alleges that Jada publicly denied behavior she privately witnessed, particularly regarding Will Smith's lifestyle. Again, these are allegations, not verdicts. But spiritually, what matters is the contradiction. Because when public image directly conflicts with private reality, deception becomes necessary to maintain the illusion. Jaguar Wright has described a Hollywood environment where everything is controlled. NDAs, private gatherings, rules that don't apply to regular people, protection that comes not from morality, but from mutual silence. And that theme keeps appearing not from one person, but from many. Different voices, same warning. And then comes the line that changes everything. Bilaal publicly stated that if legal action was not taken against him within a specific time frame, he would release names and evidence related to alleged private activities. That is not something a person says lightly. That is either desperation or confidence that what they hold matters. Now let me slow this down spiritually. The Bible says darkness hates the light because the light exposes deeds. Exposure is not always immediate. Sometimes it comes as pressure, sometimes as rumors, sometimes as lawsuits, sometimes as people speaking out after years of silence. Exposure doesn't mean instant justice. It means the beginning of reckoning. There are additional allegations circulating publicly about violence, manipulation, and abuse within the relationship. These claims are serious. There are no public police reports attached, no criminal convictions, no verified evidence released. And that distinction matters. But spiritually, what people are responding to is not proof, it's pattern recognition. Multiple individuals, over many years, describing chaos behind closed doors, volatility masked by charm, control masked by love, silence enforced by fear. That doesn't prove guilt, but it does raise discernment flags. Then there are the claims involving other men, other young figures, other names whispered but not proven. I am not here to declare those as truth. I am here to say this. When darkness is confronted, it tries to flood the conversation with extremes, so the core issue gets lost. That's why discernment is critical. Separate what is alleged, what is proven, and what is pattern. Jada's public response frames Bilaal as attempting extortion and spreading falsehoods. That response fits a familiar structure. Deny, threaten legal action, attack credibility. Bilaal claims that cycle is exactly why he filed suit. Two sides, two narratives, one courtroom. But spiritually, courtrooms don't decide everything. Time does. Patterns do. Fruits do. Will Smith himself said that Jada's revelations woke him up, that timing matters, because awakenings often happen right before exposure. When the illusion cracks internally, the structure starts failing externally. Good versus evil is not about angels and demons flying through the sky. It's about truth versus control. It's about whether power is used to protect the innocent or protect the image. It's about whether silence is chosen for peace or enforced through fear. What we are watching right now feels like pressure on a system that has relied on silence for too long. Whether Bilaal's claims are fully proven or partially dismissed, the fact that they exist publicly, legally, and spiritually means the story has shifted. The shadows don't like attention. And here's the final spiritual truth I'll leave you with. When multiple people warn you about the same darkness, from different angles at different times without coordinating, that's not coincidence. That's pattern. That doesn't mean every detail is true. It means something is wrong. Good always looks chaotic when it confronts evil, because evil thrives on order built on lies. And right now, that order is shaking. This is not over. Not legally, not spiritually, not publicly. And the louder the denials get, the closer we are to the truth breaking through. Light doesn't rush. Light exposes. And exposure is already happening.